So that
Yeah.
was a whole day, you know. And then, I was just counting the hours really.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that 10 o'clock moment. And once we did get to that, the her nurse who she knew from when she first stayed at this hospital in Walnut Creek. As a matter of fact, Walnut Creek Kaiser, that's the hospital she was born at in 1980.
Oh,
Whoa.
Yeah, so when she got
full
cancer
circle.
2 years,
Mm.
yeah, exactly. Her nurse was wonderful. It's a very nice lady named Vita. She was from Alabama by way of Louisiana,
Okay.
and she must have been about 60 and just looked like one of those very kind Southern women,
Yeah.
Mhm.
kind of long, dark brown, light blonde hair, no makeup,
Mhm.
and very religious, and very kind. And we had talked, more than a few times. And she had let me know, though, once they took the tube out of my sister, Missy is his name, she wouldn't last very long. We thought
Mhm.
like she might last a couple hours, but they were thinking in terms of minutes.
Wow.
So at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., the technician came and removed all the machines and everything that she was hooked up to so she could breathe on her own. And I thanked the guy. And then we just waited. And I just kind of looked at the monitor. Vita was standing there with me and my wife. And there was a few of us in there. And she was telling me that the numbers that were counting backwards was pretty much her oxygen level, which is basically, that's all she had left. Once it got to zero, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was at about 72, then it was, 61. And so it took about 18 minutes for her to pass. Once I started counting it there, because she breathed on her own after 10:10 p.m. And she was pronounced at 20 or 10:29.
Wow.
And
So-
now the thing what
Yeah,
got
go
me
ahead.
through this,
Mhm.
a lot of people have always, we talk about it, or now they come to me with it for advice or whatever. The thing is, I myself, I never did anything great. I just lived my life. I spent 30 years in the grocery business, 25 cutting meat. I had a burning desire my whole life since I was 5 to be a stand-up comedian. And there's only really 3 things I wanted to do. I wanted to be.
Let me ask you, were you always like the class clown?
Not necessarily, I was, from what I understand, knowing my, thanks to the like Facebook and stuff, how you can reconnect with people from your past.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody says I was such a nice guy, and I was, but I wasn't remarkable, I just, 3 things I wanted to do. I got to do 2 of them, but one of them was always to be a stand-up comic.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing was, when I was 22, I discovered alcohol, and I drank for many years, and to the point where, it consumed my life. I was obsessed with it, and I lost everything.
Yeah.
And, that was 2010 was a bad year for me. I drank myself into homelessness,
Oh, man.
But for me, somebody had gotten a hold of my family and took me to a place to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was in November of 2010, I went to a place called City Team Ministries in Oakland. And what it is, it's a free rehab,
Okay.
and it's a Christian-based rehab. And myself, I've never really necessarily been a religious person. That was just me. And I changed my heart really working at this mission at City Team while in a program. What they do is, if you go to City Team, you're pretty much screwed. Nobody wants anything to do with you, you know. And it's like downtown Oakland, right next to the Oakland Police Department and the city jail and the courthouse, and down the street was the coroner. And, that's basically your future if you don't get this right here at this program.
Yeah.
So what they do there is you live there, and in the morning you have your classes like you would think.
Like a halfway house or what?
Well, you don't really, you can't work or anything.
Okay.
You can't go have a job. You have to stay there.
You're 24/7.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not on lockdown. But I mean, if you want to leave, you know.
Oh, right.
But here it is. This is like Last Chance Central, you know. And what they do is you learn a lot of like the AA book and all that. You study that.
Sure.
You do Bible study, a lot of different classes up until lunchtime. And after lunchtime, that's when you start your job in the program.
Okay.
And what they have there is a food bank, a soup kitchen, and a men's shelter.
Okay.
And as you progress in time there, your job changes. So my first job there was washing dishes.
And can I ask you, how old were you when you went there?
Oh, 45.
Okay. So it was your last chance, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, when you lose everything at 45 is when people are starting to feel secure, you know. A lot of guys I know, their kids are getting ready to graduate high school, stuff like that.
They're all set up in their life and they're living it. Yeah.
Yeah. So here I am with nothing. You know, I let my life spiral out of control. And, but I ended up here at City Team, thanks to a very sweet old man named Norman McBride, who has been taking guys like me to City Team for some 25 years.
Wow. And how did he find you?
Well, here's the thing. It was, I was already unemployed, but I was just spending up all my money. And it was May of 2010. I'd spend my days either at the bar or at the Watch and Wager they have here, you know, which has a bar. That was my whole life. And a beautiful day in Pleasanton. So I'm walking home to where I lived. And it just so happened to be past this church. There's a beautiful little church. It's been in Pleasanton for, I don't know, maybe 100 years. They're called Lighthouse Baptist Church. And I have to walk past them to get to where I live. And I guess they're nice people. They're, you know, it's a little church. So I don't really pay it no mind. But I had to get rid of my truck because I lost my license. Yeah. You know, the whole thing when you screw up your life.
Yeah.
So I'm walking past. It's a Wednesday afternoon. And there's a guy out there in a burgundy blazer, you know, older guy, maybe 60. And he's like, hey, good afternoon, you know, and it's about maybe almost 5. I go, hi, how are you? Now, I've been at the bar, you know, and I'm wearing shorts and
you stunk and
enjoying the beautiful day. and he's like, hey, we're having a service. Would you like to come in, you know? And I don't know, thank you, you know. And he goes, oh, you got a minute? And I'm thinking, oh, come on, you know. I got a bottle of tequila waiting at the house, you know. There's some smokes. So I go, what's that, bud? You know, I'm trying to be polite. He goes, do you believe in God? And, you know, the thing is how he asked it to me. Because this guy, he looked, you know, like I said, 60, had like a pompadour, but like combed back. He looked a little rough, but, you know, he looked like a nice man. And I said, yeah, I guess so, you know. And he goes, have you been saved? And I'm thinking, oh, you know, here we go. Where's the river, right? And I said, I don't think so. And
that's probably something that you should know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, man.
And so, yeah, you know, so he goes, well, come on in. So I was like, well, I ain't got nothing else to do, right? So we walk into church, and I'm thinking about the movie "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" Right?
Yeah.
When he got baptized in the river,
when he gets turned into a toad.
Yeah, he got salved. He said he was salved. So the thing is, this is a Wednesday. Now I had just started doing like open mic comedy at this comedy club. It's just something I'd been wanting to do my whole life.
Yeah,
and I'd taken the first step. I wasn't really that good, but you know, people liked me.
Are you like retired at this point? Or
no, I'm just unemployed from this is 2010. I was unemployed. Now I don't cut meat anymore, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, sure.
So, you know, the thing is, the night before I had hosted this show for this one guy. His name is Leroy, and Leroy and I kind of started out together, and he's pretty good. And it was the first time he was going to like headline a showcase, you know, which is a Tuesday night. It's no big deal, really.
Yeah.
But for him, it was. And for me, it was. And the thing is, he packed the place with about 175 people, which for comedians starting out, that's pretty good.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And they loved him. And I hosted the show, meaning I'm like the MC, the first comic, and then I bring up the rest. And it was great. It was a great experience, right? So anyway, we go inside. It's Wednesday at the church, and it's Testify Wednesday. The Baptists, you know, on Wednesday, they like to, at the end of the service, you know, everybody talks about, they want to know if you experience Jesus or anything like that. And so I'm sitting in the back with this guy. His name is Dave. He goes, you sit back with me, you know, and there's all these nice people, nice Baptist people, older people, you know, and he's like, oh, this is Mario. And, you know, I'm in shorts, right? But and I know I reek, you know, if I'm coming home from the bar. And so I sit in the back with him. And then at the end, the assistant pastor, a wonderful man named Cliff Reedman, Pastor Cliff, he's a young guy. And everybody is taking turns on what they experienced. If they experienced Christ this week, and everybody has a story. Some people don't, but it's getting closer to me. And Dave goes, if you don't want to say anything, you know, you just can pass. You don't have to say anything. And I'm like, you know, okay. But then I just started feeling good. I was getting savved.
Yeah,
you know?
You basically talk on a microphone for a living. So so it came to this lady next to me. Then it was my turn. And I stood up and I introduced myself. And then I just explained what I witnessed the night before with my friend Leroy. And I said, I've always wanted to be a comedian, and I don't know if I'll ever get to be, but I sure like to have that feeling that my friend had with all these people loving him. I was just speaking from my heart. And which I never do then. And everybody liked it, you know. And it wasn't like I said, I think I experienced something Christ-like because of all the love that I felt for my friend Leroy. So afterwards, they had me fill out a card, and then I shook everybody's hand. And finally, I could go home to my bottles, you know. So about a month, you know, went by, and I get a phone call. And I look at the thing, and I don't recognize the number, but it's a local number. And it turns out it's that young pastor from the church, the assistant pastor. He goes, hey, Mario, I have your information here. You know, I just want to, you know if you'd like to, you know, come to the Sunday service. And I said, I don't know. And, you know, and he goes, you seem troubled. That's why I'm calling. He goes, that's why I had you fill out the card. And then I explained to him what had been going on in my life. And I said, I go, honestly, between me and you, Pastor, I think I drink too much. And I've never admitted that, you know.
Interesting.
But everybody else knew it, you know. But just ask my family. So he literally said, he goes, hey, what are you doing right now? He goes, I know you live around here. And I said, not doing anything. He goes, I'm gonna mow the lawn. Why don't you come down to the church? We'll go get some coffee. So that's what I did. And we went to the little Starbucks around the corner. And he said, I'll be honest with you, I don't know anything about alcoholism. He goes, I've never drank. He goes, but we got a guy that attends our Sunday service, and he teaches Bible study in the morning with the other parishioners. His name is Norm. Maybe you ought to talk to him. I'll introduce you. And so that's what I did. That Sunday, I went down to this church and met this old guy, retired from the phone company, little Norman McBride from Alamo, California, which is a nice little town further down the freeway there. Anyway, he had told me, we had talked for a little bit after church, and he's like, Mario, you need to go to the mission in Oakland. I can take you there, you know. This is the summer. So I resisted that idea. And but I got involved with the church, and I was trying, you know, wasn't trying to quit drinking, but the pastors like me. I met the head pastor, Pastor Bill Bryson, wonderful man. And I even would go with the associate pastor on Saturday to leave little flyers on people's doors, you know.
Okay.
Where I'd wear a tie, you know, and it was, you know, I was trying, but you know. Myself, I'm at this moment now, I what would be considered a born again